I went in the other day to get this sandwich at this shop, and it was before the lunch crowd. I went in there and I kind of had a bad attitude. Just, you know, those days where you just don't feel good. You know, your business, the pressures of life, whatever it may be. I went in there with a bad attitude, and this guy Emmanuel was taking my order, and he had a much better attitude than me. You know, kind of drew me out of it a little bit, kind of took me back. And I asked Emmanuel, I said, Emmanuel, how are you doing today? I like to do that when people are serving me. I like to ask the question, are you having a good day? How's everything going? And he was kind of thrown back a little bit, and he said, I'm having a good day. And then he kind of paused, and he said, well, I have a lot on my mind. And I said, well, what's going on? And he said, well, about a year ago, I found out I had a blood clot in my brain, and they wanted to do surgery. And they said the alternative would be to take this medicine for a year and then get re-diagnosed and see how it went. Well, he found out the previous week that it had gotten worse. It wasn't getting better. And he was going in the next morning to schedule his surgery time. Now here's a guy that's, I would have to say 24 to 26 years old. He's serving me in such a positive way, such a positive energy, and yet he's going in for brain surgery, you know, the following week. He's going into, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, it just took me back tremendously. So we talked a little bit. I told him, I said, Emmanuel, I'm going to be praying for you today. I'll pray for you in the morning. You'll be on my mind. You know, right there, I'm a kind of emotional guy. I almost started, I think I teared up a little bit. I know my eyes got watery, and I think Emmanuel did as well. So I went around, I'm kind of waiting for my sandwich, and I get a drink, you know, so I'm going, and I see the other guy come up. This other guy comes in, and he's taking the order. And this is what he does. He never even looks at Emmanuel. He never even takes his phone from his ear, and he's trying to get this order. Emmanuel's trying to ask him, but he's in this conversation, you know, and he's not even paying attention to this guy. Now, I want to tell you guys, I think that's one of the rudest things you can do. You know, as Christians, we're supposed to have our focus on others. We're supposed to love others. And having your phone plastered to your ear, not paying attention, I think not even asking the person that's serving you, you know, how are you doing today? Are you having a good day? And genuinely mean it and say thank you. It's something that we should do with everyone. It doesn't matter if you're at a restaurant, gas station, wherever it may be. And it was such a contrast, and I'm not tooting my horn or anything, because I went in there with a bad attitude. It was Emmanuel that first pulled me out of there, that attitude, to get me to ask him how he was doing. But here's such a contrast with this guy coming in on the phone, not even paying attention. So my point is, guys, really do that. As Christians, no matter where you are in any situation, take your focus off of you and really put it on the other person. Because you may think you're having a bad day, but there may be that other person on the other side that is having a just as bad day, if not worse. And that was the case with Emmanuel. And I was able to lift him up before I left the restaurant. You know, I went and talked to him a little bit and said, hey, you know, got to know him just a little bit more, and let him know that I will be praying for him, that I hope everything goes incredibly well. And probably tomorrow I'm going to go back and go back to the restaurant and kind of get an update and see how he's doing. So that's my point, guys. Focus on others. Focus on others. And really ask them how they're doing. No matter what they're doing for you, put your focus on the other person, love them, and shine bright for Christ. Thank you so much for watching this video.